And I'm going to go to your stock picks because I've got 2 minutes left. So, Graeme, I'm going to stick with you and ask you what share you would go for this evening.
Well, I'm going to go with Aspen. Last time I was on with Mark, I went with GSK. He went with Aspen. I think the results were good. Stephen and company looked as though they really had their arms around this business. I think there's a lot of optionality. I think the South African contribution is modest at probably about 20%. They've built a really good portfolio of businesses, and they're almost becoming a platform. So when I look at this business, I think it can, after a difficult year last year, I can easily see this business delivering 10, 12, 14% earnings growth for the next couple of years or next few years. And then suddenly that 17 PE doesn't feel that far. So I think Aspen's really positioned themselves very, very nicely. And if I may say, I think the elections will definitely introduce a coalition government. What we've got to pray for is that you don't find really odd bedmates getting into bed together, because that I think could be very destructive. But apart from that scenario, I think the South African operations, as well as the rest of the market, should actually do quite nicely.
Yeah. The MK, EFF, ANC menage a trois would be truly terrifying. Grant, what's your stock pick this evening?
So I'm going with Sanlam. We've seen again a very strong update from them. They continue to be the best managed business, the best insurer out there. And the nice thing about insurance is you get a benefit of the tailwind of the market. If the market's, we've got these low valuations, and if we see some recovery over the next few years, that will be a separate tailwind over and above a very strong core business that they have. They're making good capital allocation decisions in Africa. They've done that Alliance JV, so they're not over-investing. They're not putting too much capital at risk. I think that's a really smart move. And then, of course, you've got the little kicker, the jewel in the crown there, is the stake in Shriram in India. And we work out in the next 3 years or so, that will be 25 to 30% of the business and of the earnings of the business. And that's meaningful if you consider the growth rate. That economy is growing at 7% a year, which is 7 times the rate of South African. So the potential there is massive, and I think that could continue to grow. And I think it's undervalued. So that's my pick of the day. It's Sanlam.
Okay, James, thanks very much. And unfortunately, I don't have time to read aloud the ditty that a viewer sent us, the chat GPT, a poem about Sasol. So I have to leave it there, I'm afraid. Graeme, thanks very much for joining us this evening. Graeme Körner is from Körner Perspective. Grant Nader is from Benguela Global Fund Managers. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 5 to 6 for the JSE's Stock Picks event, where South Africa's top market watchers will be giving you their best stock picking tips. It's up here on Business Day TV. Up next, The Close. Stay with us.